What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Nerds and Nachos. I hope you had a good holiday. We are in the last episode of the year. So, if this is your first time joining us here at Nerds and Nachos, hello. I hope that you are having a good day. I hope you had a good week. This is going to be a very different style of episode than what I normally do. This is going to be akin to my MagicCon recaps, but more in we're recapping the whole year. So if you want an episode to go listen to where I talk more about the game rather than just my life in the last year and the life of Nerds and Nachos over the last year, I honestly would push you to go listen to episode 94. I would push you to listen to any of our back catalog outside of Thank You 2024. Test it out, see what you like. Those are all over on Spotify. If you're over here on YouTube, just jump back a couple weeks. We've got plenty of episodes coming in the new year. I know I keep talking about getting the old episodes uploaded, but those are going to be coming. I just have to consolidate 3 different hard drives into one so that I can start uploading them regularly and get them up on the show page. With that being said, thank you all for being here. I hope that you had a great holiday. I hope you had a good week. My holiday was good. It was a lot of family, a lot of traveling, less traveling than normal. We usually go to my partner's hometown first and then my hometown, but because of some things that were going on with her family, we ended up just going to my hometown, so it was a lot less traveling, but very, very full house, very full hearts. It was a good time. We had a really great time. But we came back, and now we are here. So the first things I want to talk about are shockingly the show. The shows, we kept going. I don't think I missed a week in 2025. I may have, I might be wrong, but I don't think I missed a week. I think it was all a full 52 weeks of episodes from start to finish. From I think it was the first episode of the year, and then we had our anniversary episode all the way until now at episode 95. Speaking of the anniversary episode, that lets me talk about guests. Well, I guess I should talk about more the show first. We covered a lot of topics this year, ranging from starting playing, teaching new players, and everyone's least favorite playstyle stacks. It was a lot of fun. I've talked a lot about the game. I've talked a lot about cards. I've built a lot of decks and I have talked about them, and it's been a great time. I love this card game so much, and I enjoy talking about it and sharing my thoughts with you at home, in your car, wherever you are. Honestly, you could be on the toilet for all I know, but that could be in your house. I don't know. You could be at work. I'm not here to judge you. So that's the show. We've covered a lot of stuff, and we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep talking about stuff that pops up in the community, that stuff that I want to talk about, and even play styles that I enjoy. From there, let's talk about guests. With our anniversary episode, we kicked off the year of guests with Girl Pod. We had Sarah and Sandwich both on. It was not their first time. They are huge. They are big friends of the show. I absolutely love Girl Pod. They are some of the best friends that I've made doing content. Always happy to have them on. Always happy to just sit down and have like an hour long yap session with the girls and just chill out and have a good time. It's always fun. They are great people. They have introduced me to a lot of really awesome people and pushed me to grow as a content creator and as a podcaster more than I think I would have ever pushed myself. So I know, I'm pretty sure Sarah and Sandwich, you two are watching. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm very lucky and blessed to call you two friends. From there, we had our second guest of the year was Jane from Jane Plays Magic. Jane is one of the coolest people that I have gotten to interview. Every person that I interview and that I talk to is a really, really awesome person. And all of these people I will more than likely tag in the description for you guys to go in and check out the show or check out their streams or their socials if you don't already. If you do, that's awesome. If you don't, hey, that's a new person that you can check out. I loved talking with Jane. She was a ton of fun. I got to meet her in person at MagicCon Atlanta this year. She was cosplaying Aang, mostly, if I remember correctly. And she was just as sweet in person as she is online. And it was just a ton of fun to talk to her, get to know her as a person, as a creator, and as a Magic player. It was a really fun episode. Our third guest of the year was Sam from the Howling Salt Mine. This was a huge deal for me. For most of you who don't know, I have been listening to the Howling Salt Mine since they started in 2022, and I really don't think I've missed an episode. So having Sam on was kind of a dream come true moment for me, and he's just one of the most genuine people that I've ever spoken to in real life and on the internet. He gave me a lot of pointers to make the show better. He gave me a lot of pointers to just make better content. And we had a fun time. We talked a lot about manga. We did not talk about magic that often, but it was a good time. I really enjoyed that episode, and oh man, it was so much fun. Our fourth guest of the year was JM from Trying Casually. We continued the signature deck series with JM and talking about some more of his decks. It was a lot of fun. I always enjoy having JM on. It was not his first time on. I think it wasn't even his second. I think it was like his third or fourth time coming back to the show. Always a pleasure to have him on and to talk Magic with him. He knows so much about the game and is just such a good dude, genuine person, and a really, really good stream host as well. I'm gonna try to get back on more streams for next year, but that's later in the episode. That's our goals. Then from JM, we had Vanquig Cosplay on. We talked a lot about cosplay. We talked a lot about Magic, some of her decks. We also talked a lot about working with fabric and building cosplays, and it was a really fun episode. She is a very, very kind person and just a wonderful person to have on the show and to talk to and just really talk, like learn about and learn and like get to know. It was really cool. The next guests that we had on were all in one show, harkening back to the original Cantina days, but this was post Hasbro having their earnings call with Final Fantasy, and it was post the, well, let's do a bunch of girly pop, paint it pink and pink washing of Magic to get more women in without really addressing any of our systemic issues that are in our LGSs and in our play spaces. We talked to Callie Shea, Magic Highness, Queen Honey, and Allie TCG, all coming onto the show to share their thoughts on it. Nothing was disparaging. I want to put that out there. And this is a great episode for everyone to go listen to. It was a really, really good discussion. It was one of the better episodes I think that we did this year. And it was just so enlightening to get to hear all of these women's stories and their experiences. It's episode 74 if you want to go check it out on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. If you are joining us here on YouTube, that's over where it is. It'll be one of those that I get up there eventually. But it was always fun. I think this was Callie's second time on the show. She's always a joy to have on, always a pleasure to have on. It was Highness and Honey's first time on the show, and it was great to get to meet them and get to know them and hear their thoughts on the whole situation and how we can make Magic a more open and welcoming space for women and femme presenting people. And then, Allie, it was her second time on the show. First time we talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! This time we talked about getting women into Magic, and it was, again, just a great conversation. Every single woman and femme presenting person that I've had on the show is always so much fun to talk to. They always have such good insights about everything going on that I hope to have more guests on in the next year. But that's in our goals section of the episode. We haven't hit there yet. Our next bit is going to be the highlights for the year. Highlights for the year, I think, were my first and second ever MagicCons. We went to MagicCon Chicago in February and then MagicCon Atlanta in October. MagicCon Chicago was kind of a very special time for me. It was my very first MagicCon, and again, big thank you to GirlPod for helping me get there. They helped me get the pass to go, and then if you listen to the recap episode, I flew from Raleigh to Nashville and then met GirlPod in person for the first time, and we drove from Nashville to Chicago. It was a very magical experience, is the only way that I can put it. Both the drive and MagicCon. Meeting your online friends in person is always kind of tricky because you never know if the vibes online are going to match the vibes in person. And with the girls, it was absolutely just we just meshed. It was the same vibes as online as in person that were in person, and I could not ask for better people to be around and to hang out with. MagicCon Chicago, I got to share my love for the city of Chicago with a lot of people. I got to meet a lot of content creators and the flesh for the first time, the ones that I've spoken to and ones that I hadn't. I got to meet a lot of people for the first time and a lot of people in real life for the first time, and it was really, really cool. There are some things that I would do different, but we're going to touch on that in after I talk about Atlanta as well. MagicCon Atlanta was again very fun. Shout out GirlPod again for helping me get there. But I drove myself down this time, mostly because it's very silly for anyone from Atlanta to drive 5 hours to North Carolina to drive 5 hours back down to Georgia. That just seems silly and a little selfish on my part. But I stayed in Atlanta. I had a really great time. I went with some of my friends from my real life pod, and we had a really good time. I didn't get to see a whole bunch of them. I didn't get to see them much throughout the time. They were going around doing con stuff, as they absolutely should have. My goal for MagicCon Atlanta was to just play as much Magic as possible, and I fulfilled that goal. I played a lot of games, and I played most of my games on Friday and Saturday, with Sunday being a little bit different, but I think I closed out Sunday playing Magic. So, what would I do differently between the two cons and with both of the cons combined? I would hang out with people outside of the con more. This year, I learned that I had like pretty debilitating plantar fasciitis in my right foot, which just means that like my right heel hurt, like it was broken for most of the day after walking around because those con floors are concrete and my foot would just be in an excruciating amount of pain. And so I would have to go back to either my sister's house, which is MagicCon Chicago, or my Airbnb for MagicCon Atlanta, and just stretch and make sure that my calves and foot were ready for the next day. So I have bought shoes that would fix that problem. They are a lot more cushiony, give me a lot more support. So next year for MagicCon Atlanta, I will be ready to go to LobbyCon and do things outside of the convention without being in just an obscene level of excruciating pain. But I think that's the biggest thing. I would play more Magic, obviously, and always, but I would also just try to make sure that everyone knows that I am approachable, that I may just look a little unapproachable, but that's honestly because I am nervous. And I, in fact, actually made a shirt for that. So over on Bonfire, we have it's down in our links, but we have a Bonfire link. I will put a picture of it up here somewhere. It's just a shirt that says nervous across the chest so that I can have it for for all of my MagicCon so people know I promise I'm here. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm just, I'm nervous. There's a lot of new people. And as an introverted person, talking to new people is sometimes very, very hard to do. An introverted and neurodivergent person, it's hard to talk to new people a lot. That is what I would do differently. And those are my big highlights for the year. So, what are our goals? What are our goals for Nerds and Nachos going into 2026 and through 2026? So going into 2026, obviously we want to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. As of right now, we are between 3 and 5 people away. I'm always losing like one person around there, but we're between 3 and 5 people away from 1,000 on TikTok. Going through 2026, I'd love to see that number go up, and for Instagram, I would love for that number to get over 1,000 as well. Ideally, I would like YouTube to get bigger and better and continue to grow. Our shorts are always doing well, but I want the show to do well. I want everything from in the Nerds and Nachos space to do better. I want us to go further. I want to create better content. I honestly want to create more content, and I want to just give it to y'all. What is that going to look like? Well, I'm going to start incorporating cooking content specifically for nacho recipes. We're going to be revisiting old episodes and the recipes that were there, and we're going to be cooking those and showing you guys how to make them and kind of the vision that I had in mind at the time. And then outside of that, we're just going to go to MagicCon Atlanta. That's our biggest goal for 2026 is to be at MagicCon Atlanta as a featured creator. If we don't get it, it's okay. We'll try again. But that's going to be our biggest goal for next year is featured creator at MagicCon Atlanta 2026. Why am I only going to Atlanta? I hear you asking your computer or phone or what have you, whatever you're listening to this on, and that is because I'm only going to Atlanta because I am publishing a book under my actual name, Grayson, not the GC moniker that I use here. It will be out in October, and through most of the year, I'm going to have to be saving up to make sure that I can do all of this easily. And the book tour will be taking up a large portion of time and brain space. So we'll be taking care of that. We will go through the book tour in October, and then in November we'll be heading to MagicCon Atlanta, hopefully rested and ready to go. If not, hey, we're just gonna do it live, and that's why they made Red Bull, right? Is to it replaces sleep. Yeah, whatever. If even if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. But those are our big goals. My last thing that I want to leave you guys with is as much as I have talked to creators and tried to let you guys get to know creators as like people, and I have gotten to know them as people as well, I want to make sure that you know me behind the camera, who I am, and why I started this. Why did Nerds and Nachos rise from the ashes of what had happened to it? So back in the day in 2022, Nerds and Nachos started. It lasted for about 6 episodes. We recorded 7, but it lasted for 6 episodes. And on that 7th one, the audio file got so corrupted, and then my former co-host and I got so busy, the show had to be placed on hiatus. From there, in 23, I suffered a pretty significant loss. I lost a member of my family. Her name was Julia. She was my cousin, and honestly, one of the biggest and best supporters that I have ever known. With her leaving, I took a lot of stock of my life and wondered why I always thought about redoing the podcast and never pulled the trigger on actually doing it. So, what I did was I just restarted as a way to keep her memory alive and to make her proud. And it is my way of honoring her legacy and maintaining the energy that she put out into the world of just being kind and being true to myself. If you have suffered a loss like that and have done something to honor that person, I would actually be honored to hear about that. That is something that I would be honored to have you share, and I would be right there with you and cheering you on, letting you know that we're here. We here at Nerds and Nachos headquarters are here for you, and we are gonna cheer you on hard and until we're blue in the face. But that's all I've got for you guys. Hopefully 2025 was good for you. It was good for me. It was a good time. We had a good year. Um, personally, things were a little wacky, and now I work so many jobs now, but it was still a good time, and I hope it was a good one for you, and I hope that 2026 is even better. We're going to switch over to the plugs now, so if you want to jump away, that's totally fine. If you want to stick through it and learn how to save some money on stuff, hey, it's coming. If you're in the market for a playmat, head on over to jankmats.com and use code NERDSNACHOS at checkout for 10% off. Anytime you make a purchase with that code, I get a little commission of that sale, and all of that money goes back to supporting the show as well as supporting my cats. You've heard me in the last few episodes. They're starving. They're really not, I promise. They're totally fine. But, cat food's expensive. Help me pay for cat food. And if you're in the market for a caffeination blend, a hydration blend, a relaxation blend, whatever that you are looking for, head on over to w.gg and use code nachos at checkout for 10% off. With that 10%, once you use that code, I will again get a small commission of that sale. Again, everything goes to supporting the show, supporting my cats, and my own personal family. If you want to support the show, but you don't want to do so through Jankmats or W, you can head on over to Patreon. At Patreon, we have tiers from $1 all the way up to $100. At $5 and above, you get a zine sent to you every month. At $10 and above, you get proxies sent to you every 3 months. If you want to test it out, I would suggest try the $5 tier so you can get the zine. They look like this. It's just a cool little piece of physical media for you that you can hang on to. Sometimes the drawings get away from me and they look weird, and sometimes they're just really fun. They're always a little bit topical about what's going on in Magic, sometimes about what's going on in the world, but it is just a cool little piece of physical media that's all hand-drawn, all handwritten. No AI is used whatsoever, so you can always take solace in that. If you don't want to give me your hard-earned money and you want the corporations to give me their money, the way that it absolutely should be. All that I can ask of you on here on YouTube is a thumbs up and a subscription. That helps boost us way more than you ever could possibly think. But over on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you consume this audio format, a listen and a 5-star review is all I can ask for you. From there, it just lets the algorithm know that other people who like Magic podcasts would like this one as well. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all for the amazing year that we have had, and I will see you next week.